The cost of maintenance on a diesel versus the cost of maintenance on a gas truck is what I want to talk about in today's video. For the guys that are thinking about making the jump to a diesel, maybe you want the performance, maybe you want the prestige, maybe you just want the best truck that you can get and you have the extra money, or maybe you need a diesel, maybe you're towing over 10,000 pounds on a regular basis. Or maybe you're driving over the road or you're doing hot shot or something like that and you need a diesel. How much more is maintenance on a diesel versus a gas? Let's jump right into it. So number one, obviously there's way less components on the gas truck. They've literally eliminated the fuel filters. That is no longer a maintenance item on a gas truck. There is no fuel filter to be changed on this truck anymore. The oil filters are cheaper, the oil capacities are lower, and the oil itself is about the same price, about $10 a quart for full synthetic oil, whereas this truck takes, I think 13 quarts versus the gas truck that I have. It's a 6.2 and it takes 7 quarts. Also, what I have noticed from my own personal experience, I don't know if this is true, it just kind of seems like this to me. It seems like the oil life lasts longer on the gas trucks nowadays, according to the oil life monitor. I'm able to get a full year out of the oil life monitor on this truck. And I'm telling you guys, on this one, I'm changing the oil all the time, guys. It seems like if I'm going off the oil life monitor, based on what it's telling me, it's calling for oil changes like clockwork. Like every couple of months, the oil life monitor is telling me to change the oil. And it could be because I'm doing a little bit more idling and short trips and stuff like that, which is not great for these trucks. Maybe that's what it is. But for the short trips and for the idling and all that, this is our lawn mowing truck. I actually got the doors open right now because it's funky in there. I need to let some of that stinky air out. But short trips on the lawn maintenance truck, as you can see, if you look in here, there's grass, looks like a potato chip right there. But there's mostly grass in here. It gets dirty. This truck makes short trips, very short trips. It might run for literally a half a mile at a time every day. So a diesel in this application is not a good idea. It's not a good idea to have that kind of short trips. Now, as far as the short trips on this, they're at least, the engine's running for at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time. Still short though for diesel. When they say long trips, they mean like hours. Hours at a time is where diesel really shines. But, you know, before I get too much into the comparison between gas and diesel, let's jump into the price. So I believe at AMSOIL oil change on this truck is going to cost you around $140 if you're like a preferred member. Maybe more, maybe less. This is off the top of my head. I'll show you the invoice that I just got from AMSOIL that I ordered oil, but I believe it's about $140 for a filter, for one of the AMSOIL premium filters, and the oil, the Signature Series AMSOIL. Now, you can save a little money by going with the Motorcraft Full Synthetic or the Motorcraft 10W30. Nothing wrong with Motorcraft. It's designed for this engine, but I will say the real high-end synthetics, the engine will run a little bit better. I've run the Motorcraft 5W40 and it ran good, but toward the end of that oil life, based on the oil life monitor, not the miles, because for me, if I were to try to go 5,000 miles, it would be a lot longer intervals than what the oil life monitor is giving me. To put in perspective, I'm on my 4th oil change right now. It's due for its 4th oil change. The truck has 11,000 miles and I've been running the oil life monitor, not the miles. So if you can imagine, if I tried to do just miles alone for my driving habits, I would be getting half the oil changes and potentially running it too long. Now with the full synthetics, the premium full synthetics, like I said, the Motorcraft 5W40 toward the end of its oil life, you could feel that it was getting ready to need to be changed. You can hear a little more noise, a little more clicking, a little more tapping, whatever the 6.7s are known for, that little tick that occurs. But yeah, I could tell. Now with the Hot Shot Secrets is what I'm running now. I'm switching to the AMSOIL 0W40. But with the Hot Shot Secrets FR3 infused PAO oil, it runs literally like it just had an oil change. And that stuff's rated for a really long interval. So if you want to try Hot Shot Secrets PAO, I can say the truck runs great. It probably could be just left in there for a whole nother round, but I'm trying out different stuff, and I'm going to try the AMSOIL 0W40. But if you want to try the Hot Shot Secrets, use DS-Trucks on their website, and they'll give you like a discount, like I think maybe 10% off, I don't know. But $140, guys, for an oil change on this diesel. On the gas, you're looking at like 80 or 90 bucks to get the oil changed on the gas. You got less oil, you got a smaller, cheaper filter, and that's the AMSOIL. You could probably get this truck's oil changed for like 50 bucks at the Quick Lane, which is not bad. They might have you put a synthetic blend in there, and is it as good as AMSOIL full synthetic? No, it's not, but it's good enough. The synthetic blend is made for the truck. You follow the oil life monitor or the miles, or if you look in the owner's manual, it's going to tell you either 5,000 miles or so many engine hours and all this stuff. But from my experience, just the oil life monitor is keeping all that stuff. It's timing it. It's not like it's monitoring. It's not like it has a probe going inside the oil and it knows the actual condition of the oil or the level of the oil or anything like that. But it is just monitoring the time and the amount of fuel and the amount of load on the engine. And it kind of knows, is it perfect? No, but it's probably the best thing to follow for maintenance on your truck. The last thing you want to do is just say, 5,000 miles, the oil life monitor is at 0, but I've only driven maybe 2,000 miles, and then reset it and then go another 2,000 miles. It could be that the driving habits are requiring oil changes quicker, and some guys will reset them, and they'll try to run a 10,000 mile interval, but they're resetting the oil life monitor and going to 10,000 miles, and they're smoking their engines. Now, I could have done that with I'm at 11,000 miles and I'm on my 4th oil change. If I would have done that with my F450, that could be an issue. But $80, guys, for this oil change, and it's just that. It's just an oil change. Now the differentials and the front and the rear and all that stuff, and greasing the front ends. Now the gear oil should be that much more maintenance on the diesel, but maybe a little bit more. So take this into consideration. Your diesel is going to be about 800 pounds heavier than your gas. So your differential, your rear end, your tires, all that stuff is always carrying an extra 800 pounds. So that's going to take its toll on its tires. That's going to take a toll on the gear oil a little bit. It's going to mean that your gears are working a little bit harder all the time. It's carrying an extra 800 pounds. So it does have an effect. Now, as far as tires are concerned, all that extra torque of a diesel is going to eat up your rear tires a lot quicker than the gas. Even the front tires will wear out a little and feather a little quicker than the gas, because all that extra torque when you're going into a turn does have an effect. The power is just not there on the gas truck to eat up the tires. So you can expect tires to not last quite as long as they do on a gasoline truck. You got more torque, you got more weight, you're moving that weight quicker, you got just overall more power, it's faster. So that's one of those things. Tires and things like that are going to be a little bit more, they're going to come up a little bit sooner on a diesel truck. Another thing to really consider is these fuel filters. When you look at the diesel, you've got one up here, and these are problematic. You see online all the time that this upper fuel filter just leaks. Sometimes they blow out. I haven't had any problems. I change mine every other oil change, which is actually early for this. The book says you can run like 20,000 miles or something, but I change mine every other oil change. And honestly, I haven't had any issues, but I believe these filters are gonna run you at least $100. You got this one up here, and then you've got one underneath too, that according to the Ford mechanics that I know, they recommend changing these every other oil change. And I think I might be on the wrong side. No, I'm on the right side. Let's see. So underneath here, you've got to go under the truck, and you've got to take this little cover off, And you got to drain your water separator every so often, maybe once a month. You should check it. But looking at this, you can see that you've got to take this cover off. You got to pull this big cartridge filter out of here. Now these filters can be changed or replaced to a different style of filter. You can actually put a cat filter under here and a different filter up top that's less prone to failure. But keep in mind that this is more money. This is $100 every other oil change. So you could be looking at $140 for oil and another $100 every other oil change, compared to a F250, 350 with a gas engine being $80. And it seems to run longer intervals. I've plowed snow with both of these trucks. I've idled a lot with both of these trucks. And I can tell you what, I can make the whole winter plowing and daily driving that F250 versus the 450. You know, I'll get through the winter. I'll get halfway through the winter. When January comes around, February it's time for another oil change. So that's kind of where it's at. These diesels on short trips, they need their oil changed more often. So oil change and filter change on this, easily $240 just in parts. Then you go to the dealer and you could be at a $400 job, parts and labor, $400, $450 for parts and labor. It can get expensive when you're doing all of it at the dealer. Whereas this one, the 250, you can go to the dealer and get the basic stuff. The blend, synthetic blend, the whatever, there's nothing else, just synthetic blend. And then after so often you have to do, you know, your trans, and you have to do your gears and all that. But the thing that I was thinking recently is, like, I go through these trucks so fast, you know, I'll have it for a while and then I'll sell it. This truck I thought about selling. I might just keep it though, because I kind of want to just be done with it. It's gonna get paid off soon. Just be done and just keep it until the end. But this truck, I put full synthetic oil in it, which does work out because I do run that 1 year interval, and I'll stay under 5,000 miles in that year anyway. So it works out good just to have the oil that's rated to last a year. And I'm very low on the miles anyway. But if I were to do the minimum for this truck, knowing that the full synthetic's better in every way, but if I'm always selling a truck, it doesn't make sense to do. It makes more sense just to do the full synthetic or the synthetic blend if I'm gonna sell the truck, because why am I making a truck that's gonna last longer for the next guy that might not even follow up and do the full synthetic that I've been doing the whole time. So I might just go ahead and keep this truck, see how long I can have it, see how long the engine will last, actually run the full synthetic. It was in it since it was new, and just keep rolling on with the full synthetic oil that's been in it. Since I've been doing that, I might as well keep the truck, because how do I know the history of another truck versus the history that I've been making with the truck? So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, if I'm gonna maintain these trucks and keep them up so nice, like I'm trying out these different full synthetic oils here, but nonetheless, it's always had full synthetic oil in it. I might as well keep it. If I do sell it, I got all the records. So anyway, since we were on the topic of records, let's go ahead and see if we can look at some of the invoices from the maintenance we've done on the truck. Let's jump inside the truck and see how much it's been costing me for maintenance on this diesel. All right guys, inside the truck, and you can see here on the dash that the change oil soon, well, I've got the engine or the hood open light, but the change oil soon light is on. So looking at this, I got my records from my oil changes right here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but I do have the Hot Shot Secrets oil. This is the latest oil change here. This oil alone cost $161. But I will say this 5W40 Blue Diamond PAO oil is really got the truck running smoothly. And I tell you what, it's still running like it doesn't need to be changed. I should really do a analysis of this oil and see what's going on, because it's still pretty clean. So I probably should just draw some of this oil out, send it out to Blackstone, see what's going on with the motor, because this stuff is This stuff's got the truck running good. They claim some pretty long intervals, and I believe it. I mean, I could leave this stuff in for another round and it would probably be okay, but I don't know. I'm gonna change it again. I don't know. It could. Now, if this stuff's really that good for, if you could really get away, they have this stuff's insane. They have like a 50,000 mile interval available with this oil if you have like a certain bypass kit. If that's true, I mean, that is some savings. That really is some savings if it's true, if it can be done. I don't know. I've been just changing my oil, but I'm trying out different products. Now, the other thing I'm doing now, second oil change I did at 7,000 miles. It was in March. I greased the chassis. That is I'm sorry, I don't even know if I wrote that right, if it's the second or the third. That will be the third, not the second, so I gotta fix that. The first one, well, here's where I get confused. So it's the third oil, but the second change. So factory oil, the first oil change, the second oil change, and this will be the third oil change that I'm gonna do next. So the next one that I do was gonna say third. This one says second. So it's a little bit confusing, but anyway, the second oil change done in March 2021. We did the full synthetic PAO oil, and we did filters. Now, when you look at the filters, I want to show you guys the cost of the filters. When you look at this, you see $180. They sold me the wrong part. The $24 is the oil filter, and I do believe that is more money than a gas variant. But $180, they charged me the wrong, and they sent me the whole unit, and they sent me like the whole housing. So I had to return that, and you can see here, returned, and the oil filter actually cost $103. So every other oil change, if you want to do what's recommended by Ford Mechanics, every other oil change, you're doing another $100 and a lot more work. Now, the first oil change, let's take a look here at the first oil change. My friend, my buddy, Power Stroke Tech Talk, did the first oil change, and he only charged me $175. Now that could be because of a deal he was running. He got the dealer to run a deal for him, and we ran 5W40 full synthetic. We cracked the quartz, and yeah, I mean, $175. The parts were $145 and the labor was $20. So he gave me a deal for sure. So you can expect that the labor is probably going to be more than $20 for normal, in normal circumstances, but still the parts alone were $145, which is interesting. So the PAO is $160 just for the oil, and you still got to get a filter. So the filter's $25, 60. So that's $185, and you're doing all the work yourself. So for $185, you can get the best of the best oil and filter. So I haven't been doing this just for cheap, low prices or being cheap or anything. I just, I've seen what full synthetic oil can do over the long haul for an engine that's always had full synthetic. They're just clean motors on the inside. They just look clean, and that's why I do it. You can never clean all that sludge out of an engine. But another thing to consider is your diesel exhaust fluid. So let's take a look at our fluid. Typically for me, my diesel exhaust fluid will last one oil change or one oil life monitoring cycle. But whenever I start towing, that oil life monitor starts drinking death way faster. I don't know why, I don't know technology, but that's another thing to consider. I just filled this up and I went to the truck stop and pumped it, and it was like, I think $25 or $30 just to fill that up. So that's another cost with the diesel. So all in all, yes, the diesels do have a higher cost, much higher cost, depending on how you look at it. There is a fee to play. So that's pretty much it, guys. How much more is a diesel? You know, like I say, $80. Let's go in the garage real quick and let's take a look at how much the AMSOIL cost. All right, guys, so I actually had to come inside the house to find my phone so I could show you the cost side by side, AMSOIL maintenance versus gas versus diesel maintenance using AMSOIL. So the gas is $71 for the oil and $14 for the filter. So $70, $80, $85, $86 for the gas truck, and that's using the best oil that you can really get, AMSOIL full synthetic. And moving down here, you can see the diesel. The diesel truck is $26.99 for the filter, which is more money, guys, more money for the diesel filter, significantly more money. And then $140 for the oil, even though you do get extra oil because it takes, I believe, like 13 quarts and 4, 8, 12. So 3 of them gives you 12 quarts, and you're gonna have 3 quarts left over from the 4th jug. So that's nice to have because you're gonna be topping off your oil. But guys, I got some people here. This is DS Trucks. Thanks for watching. I gotta go. See you guys in the next video. Over and out.